So it looks like there's an issue between Paul George and Devin Booker. Blows were exchanged on Twitter back and forth due to the fact of, Paul George having the podcast, and the last person he interviewed that I know of currently is Klay Thompson. And shout out to him. Klay Thompson is definitely a great player, great shooter, one of the best we ever seen. And he interviews Klay Thompson and he talks about the 4-ring deal. Now, for you who don't know, the 4-ring situation was the situation that Klay Thompson had with Devin Booker when they played a game last year. And, Klay Thompson said in the interview on Podcast P that he got in his feelings and he kind of let the situation take over and get the best of him. And he shouldn't even have brought out the 4 rings or try to even throw that in Devin Booker's face, because that's not really him and that's not what he was supposed to do. And he wasn't where he was supposed to be, gameplay wise. You see what I'm saying? And I respect Klay for saying that, being the bigger person. And it got back to Devin Booker, basically. And on Twitter, Devin Booker asked, what you see. Did you get the answer you were looking for? And, basically, of course, Paul George basically, in so many words, said it's a sorry ass response. I was just asking a question based upon, me running a podcast. And to me, this situation right here can brew to the point where it makes a rivalry between the Clippers and the Suns, or it'll make the matchup a lot more interesting due to the fact that there's tension in the air between the two teams, basically both amongst these two players. So it can definitely make an interesting series, even more interesting than what it would have been even if they had played each other without this type of tension. But, Devin Booker and Paul George have never really seen eye to eye. They had some negative words to say about each other over the last couple of years, and altercations that they've had, little minor altercations, but words were being exchanged just like this situation. And this just puts the icing on the cake. I just personally think they don't like each other. I personally think they respect what each other does, on the floor. But as far as a like for each other, I just don't see it there. And I can just, I never felt like they did on the court. It's always words exchanged, and it's always just a little extra bumping, nudging, things like that between the two players every time I've seen the Clippers play the Phoenix Suns. But either way, this situation right here, like I said, it can make hypothetically, if they play in a 7-game series this upcoming season in the playoffs, it'll make it so much more interesting because, like I said, with a little bit of beef going, a little bit of rivalry going, and the tempers are up there, the tempers are flaring. It'll make the 7-game series more interesting, and it'll make the regular season when they play each other, once or twice in the regular season, it'll make that matchup interesting as well. And it makes everything so much more intriguing because this offseason we also heard that Ty Lue was possibly going to sign with the Phoenix Suns, because of the contract situation with the Clippers. And there was a big possibility the Phoenix Suns, were going to get Ty Lue, along with the Milwaukee Bucks was another team that kind of reached out and stuck their head out for Ty Lue and things like that to try to go after him as well. So, I mean, even still with the Phoenix Suns thing, that was more en route to happening more than anything else because it was so very close based upon some of the reports I was reading and, some of the reports that, I was reading on other sites, other sources and stuff that I usually don't read. It was pretty heavy. The talks were real heavy. So, I mean, if they do play each other in a 7-game series, not only this Paul George and, Devin Booker thing is going to flare up, but I mean, the talk is going to be about, Ty Lue possibly signing with them possibly next year, what I'm saying, or things like that. I mean, it's going to be a soap opera if these two teams happen to play in a 7-game series again, especially if both teams are healthy, because I mean then you got the Durant and Russell Westbrook thing still going. I mean, that's been going for years on and off, the little rivalry they have between each other. So, I mean, if these two teams play in a 7-game series, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very good. And it's going to be very must-watch TV type thing because, I mean, it's going to be, a battle if they play each other because, I mean, Kawhi is the one and that's the X factor. That's the main guy that can change everything in the whole series series because how he guards Kevin Durant, makes all the world difference. I definitely believe Paul George can guard Devin Booker. I believe Devin Booker is a better player than he was a few years ago, but I still believe Paul George is a good enough defender to alter some of what Devin Booker would do offensively that will help, better the Clippers' chances, along with, the fact that Kawhi will be D'ing up, Kevin Durant. We all saw this past season when they played, Kawhi D'd him up real good. I mean, stripped him a couple times, gave him fits on the defensive end as he always does, and make him work for everything. And now that Kevin Durant, can't, seems like he's getting older, what I'm saying, right before our very eyes. He's still an elite scorer. He's still an elite player, but you can see his age starting to catch up with him a little bit. Not much, but just, a very little. And any little instance or any little advantage, a player might have over you, it can really, dictate a series sometimes. So I definitely am interested, to see these two teams. And honestly, between Paul and Devin Booker, really, they just need to kill this situation because both, especially Paul George, the Clippers have to go into this season as focused as possible, not let any type of negativity get into their head, get into the locker room, just go out there and hoop because you've had too many instances where injuries have came a part of the situation, which has, lessened your chances of winning championships. So the goal this year is to go in and take the regular season seriously, focus on it highly, push and stay healthy as much as you can. Don't worry about all the negativity. I know Devin Booker talks a lot. Devin Booker is going to talk probably the rest of the offseason going into the season. And the first time the Suns play the Clippers, he's going to do even more talking. But as I said before, Paul George, he doesn't need to feed into it. He needs to just, play his game, let his game do the talking. Go out there and drop 40 on Devin Booker, and that'll kill that'll kill everything. Well, drop 40 and get a W. Don't take a L. So you drop 40 plus or 35 plus or something like that and get a W. It shuts up, Devin Booker for a while at least, because I do believe the Clippers are going to have to, if they plan on going far in the playoffs, they're going to have to see, the Devin Booker and the Suns, in a 7-game series. So I think that'll be the ultimatum right there. But this situation right here, I would look at it as more minor because it's just one of them things that's just going to make the matchup more interesting when the Phoenix Suns plays the Clippers. So I'm all for it. I'm all ready for it. But as far as anything, out of bounds happening with this situation, I don't hope for that, but I'm all for the, a little bit of chippiness, a little bit of rivalryness to make the matchup interesting. And when these two match up and play against each other, that'd be even better as well. So I can't wait to see it. But leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think as always, and we'll talk about it.